T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Here's your career affirmation. You're going to rock that interview and get that job. Happy Thursday, everyone. I'm Anna Morgan, your career BFF. This is episode 11. I am so proud of myself for going live 11 weeks in a row. I mean, we have to give ourselves a little pat on the back because this is the fabulous self-love, self-care week of the BFF program. And today we are going to be talking about the things that we need to remember about ourselves that make us awesome, because that awesomeness is what drives confidence. And confidence is everything in a job search. Here's why. You can't sell yourself if you don't believe in you, and you can't energize and motivate other people to believe in yourself if you're not feeling your own vibe. If you're lacking that enthusiasm in your own, skills and abilities. So confidence has always been the key to job search success. So we are going to talk about a few ways to regain our confidence during a tough job search. We know it is rough out there these days. So say hello in the comments. Let me know where you're tuning in from. I'm so grateful to be here. My friend Amanda is in the house. So glad you're here. Adrian Curry is back. Hello. Thank you so much for being here. There's a lot going on in the live world right now, so this is probably going to be a quick live. My goal each week, Ronette is here, one of my new favorite people on LinkedIn. Amanda, Adrian, please say hello to Ronette and connect with her. She is a transitioning IT manager into recruitment and talent acquisition, and just getting the lay of the land of LinkedIn. So here we are talking about confidence, ways to regain, our fabulous, right? Our light. And I shared a post today, and it was interesting. I was looking at this book, which is by Rebecca Campbell, and it's about, finding your light. And actually the post that I shared today, I had coincidentally, it's one of those things where you just pick up the book and you're like, oh, wow, I just opened to that very exact page. So we're going to start with that. And then I'm going to dive into based on my experience working with job seekers, some of the areas where I have been able to be a catalyst to help reframe, find that confidence that they didn't know existed, and some of the methods that I've used to, you know, be that career BFF and help, pull someone out of, not really feeling super great about themselves. And we all have those days. We are all human. We're all doing the emotional cha cha, as I call it, 2 steps forwards, 2 step backwards. So, again, this is by Rebecca Campbell, and it is Your Light is Contagious. You have an inner light within you that is craving to be shared by those around you, by the world at large, but mostly by you. When you share your unique light, bit by bit, you light up the lives of those around you. And one by one, you inspire them to light up too. It's a chain reaction. And before long, the whole world lights up. Your light is contagious. And I love this saying because it just ignites kind of that flame that, there's a purpose that we are here to, share our brilliance with the right people, right? So thank you so much for being here. We have Brenda in the house. Thank you so much for joining. I love your new puppy, by the way. I am obsessed with keeping an eye on your stories on Instagram to see how you, your daughter, and your new puppy are doing. So hashtag squirrel ADD moment. So, all right, we have a handful of people here. So I'm going to dive back into some of my best practices when working with clients to really reground, find that foundation of confidence when we're going through a tough job search. And again, these are based on some of my own journeys as well. So, step 1, take care of your health. And this seems so incongruent sometimes when we're depressed and we're facing rejection. But if we can find that radical self-care to take the time to take that walk or do those stretches or make it to that gym class, we are doing so much for our mental health because science has proven that moving our body definitely helps the dopamine and the neurotransmitters in our head, right? So then also having those healthy habits, right? For me, I have to be very vigilant about sugar. When I eat too much sugar, I don't feel as good. And so it drains my energy and zaps my brain function. And I'm also someone that has to eat like every 2.5 hours. So it's really kind of tapping into that inner knowing. And what are the things that you can do that are healthy habits that are in service of, supporting you and being your best self? The next thing, step 2, is when you're in an active job search. I mean, so many times if you've been laid off or furloughed, you're going through the stages of grief, right? Allow yourself to be with those feelings, process, reach out for support, whether it's a friend, a past coworker, a therapist. I mean, don't be afraid to pick up the phone and ask for support. The next step is basically your time management and your structure. So if you were conditioned to having a little bit of a routine in the workplace, so when we find ourselves in a longer term job search or even in a new job search, I highly recommend that you figure out a schedule that works well for you. So I try to manage my me time, which is my meditation and exercise time. And I will plan out my classes or my walking partners or, whatever that's going to look like. For me personally, let's be honest, to get it done, I have to do it in the morning. But then I would have little micro goals. How many coffee chats is reasonable? How many connections do I want to make on LinkedIn? How many positions make sense for me to apply to? How much intentional, commenting and engaging focus or micro goals to say make 5 comments a day on or connect with 5 new people in my zone of genius or the industry that I'm focusing on, right? And then mapping that out and giving yourself a little bit of a framework, a container to work within each day. And when we do that, and again, this is somewhat counterintuitive for me, being ADHD and neurodiverse, that I want to, I tend to be very reactive, right? Oh, they want me, they reached out, da 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 da, right? But I know based on, my own job search and the ways I've conducted myself from a sales and recruitment standpoint, the way that I'm going to accelerate results is to work within a system that is supportive of the end result, right? Which is finding work that aligns with my purpose and passion. So build that time management structure, set those micro goals, and give yourself a reasonable time frame. It might be do this for 2 days, and that's okay. And then you start to build up to 3 days. And then before you know it, it's 5 days. Now, once you've built this structure, the next way that you are building a foundation to elevate your confidence and your energy is to document that process and be in that place of gratitude. Yes, I had 3 coffee chats this week, and here's what I've learned. If you are capable of documenting this process, it almost gives you a way to basically make your job search a project. And then it's something that you can actually speak to in your interview process, what you have been doing, how you have been leveling up. Does that look like taking LinkedIn courses or volunteering to do some extra work, for a nonprofit or for an internship type of opportunity? So you want to take care of your health. You want to have those healthy habits. You want to look at your time management and your structure. And then you want to document your wins, right? The next step is to really just focus on what you can control and also just be aware of that internal dialogue. Like I said, we have all been through so much through this pandemic. And when you've been in active job search and you're around a lot of people that are talking about the active job search, and in this community, it can feel super heavy, right? And so how do you need to ground yourself in minding your own internal tapes, right? Being aware of what you can focus on and then just taking that one step forward, whether that's, eating healthy, moving your body, making that connection request. Are those little tiny micro actions in service of your highest self and your long-term goals? So the next thing I recommend is to basically do a bit of a inventory in regards to where you've been, what you've done, what it was like, and where you're looking to go, right? And why this is so powerful. And I think I did this probably less than a year ago. I sat myself down, turned off all the technology, and I just started writing about my very first job. I'm curious, put in the comments what your very first job was. So my very first job, y'all will probably be shocked to know this, was at an animal hospital, and I was a veterinary tech assistant. And so I cleaned cages, I bathed dogs, I took dogs for walks, I fed them, I prepped them for surgery, I did all those things. And so I just started with that story. And then it went to when I worked at Baskin Robbins and I scooped ice cream. And I remember being really proud because I had a huge, forearm muscle from scooping, hours and hours of ice cream. And then I worked at a restaurant. And then I talked about, I went into, some of my adventures getting into college, and, it just started to flow. And then from that experience, like it was just flowing out of me. And once I was finished, I was able to come back and look at all these stories. So we have Amanda was a swim instructor. I love it. Adrian was a crew member at Chipotle. I love it. We have Ildi was a medical assistant. That's awesome. So once I got through these stories, and I mean, I had a lot, I didn't realize that I had all of these jobs. And I started thinking kind of in the mindset of the STAR method: situation, task, action, result, right? And started kind of adding some of those, bigger details as I got through into more of my professional experience. And it really just like blew up my mind about, holy cow, like one, I haven't talked about this in a really long time. And two, holy cow, I forgot about that experience, and how amazing was that I managed to sell this amazing bottle of wine to these tourists when they came into my restaurant that I worked at in Boston. So it starts igniting this different level of creativity. So if you've never sat down and like just written your career story from beginning to end, I highly recommend it. It looks like Amanda also drove a duck in the Dells too. I'm not sure. Did you drive one of those? Like, when I read that, I thought about one of those duck boats that like has wheels and then you drive it into the water. Is that what we're talking about? I don't know. So this is a great way, by writing your story, kind of early career to where you are, to boost your confidence, because you start to realize what an adventure you have been on. And we all love storytelling. People buy, connect, and hire people based on storytelling. So if there's one way that you're looking to boost your confidence when you've been in a tough job search, sit down and write out your career story. There is okay, Amanda said, yes, that is what you did. Okay, Amanda drove the little ship cars, duck things from the road into the water. How fun. I learned something new that I didn't know about you, Amanda. And then the content creator in me, now I'm getting like really fired up now that I'm thinking about this again and going, why haven't I made more posts about this? You could literally break out some of these stories and do little micro bits of content here on LinkedIn to start conversations. Because like we're doing here in the comments, we're talking about working at Chipotle, scooping ice cream, being a medical assistant, driving duck boats. I mean, who doesn't connect with that, right? And then you start to realize that, man, I am pretty amazing. So definitely take the time to do that. And through that process, you're actually going to like take stock in what makes you special, what makes you unique. These are also great exercises that will inspire you to further elevate your personal brand, whether it's here on LinkedIn or other social media platforms. So you're looking at what you have achieved in the past, the impact that you've had, the people's lives that you've changed, what you are great at. And this becomes like your confidence database, right? And I have found that to be extraordinarily valuable for myself and for my clients. So write out your story. If you need extra support, I believe I picked this up from one of my coaches in the past, Kyle Elliott, who's a great career coach and resume writer. He had said to text past coworkers, friends, managers, people that you've worked with, and ask them for 5 words that they would use to describe you. And I have used that exercise to build kind of like an upward spiral board, or a visual reminder that, I am Like I have it above me. I'm fun loving. I'm determined. I'm empowered. I'm feminine. I'm creative. I'm loyal. People see me as empathetic and charismatic and trustworthy and consistent. And so we all have those moments when, you get the, sorry, Anna, we decided to go into a different direction. It was a really hard decision, but thanks, but no thanks, right? And that's when you just want to be like, oh, I want to cry. I want to crawl under my desk. I want to put the covers back over my head. And it's totally okay to do that, by the way. But, once you sit back down and realize that how amazing you are, you have those little grounding reminders to boost your confidence, right? So those are some of my tips today. Take care of your health, implement healthy habits, manage your time, build a structure, think about how you care for others, and make sure that you're giving yourself the same grace and compassion. Write out your story and take stock in what makes you special. Put up your upward spiral board, your little words that can help ground you and remind you of how amazing you are. And don't be afraid to ask for help. I mean, that is the beauty of this platform, networking with each other in the comments. And then, use your job search as like a project and document the process. And, through that process, I guarantee that you will find gratitude. You'll have a higher sense of awareness of, what's working, what's not. And then most importantly, if there's ways that you can be of service to others and share, what's worked for you, what you've overcome, sharing your career story, will inspire others. And that kind of goes back to that reading that I shared earlier about your light. When we shine our light, it inspires other people to share theirs. And also, we tend to attach our identity to a job. Like, don't forget about all the valuable, incredible roles that you hold outside of being an employee. You're a parent, you're a spouse, you're a sibling, you're a child, you're a friend, you're a mentor, you're a confidant, and hopefully you'll be a career BFF to other people as you trudge the road to your happy destiny. So that is my experience, strength, and hope and wisdom for you all today. I am celebrating week 11. We will be back next week, which is the Ask Me Anything week. So each week is under the BFF method, which is behind the recruiter curtain, focused and fulfilling strategy, and fabulous self-love. And the fourth week is Ask Me Anything. So sometimes I have a guest, sometimes I answer just specific questions that have come up through the comments or direct messages. And the goal each week is to come on and address one particular topic and share my expertise and wisdom to be in service of supporting you through this transition, because we don't have to job search alone. We are here to support each other, and I'm your career BFF, Anna Morgan. We'll see you back here next week at noon Eastern. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Sending you all love and light. Have an amazing rest of your week.